So it's time for the British Fist to review Money in the Bank 2013, and where better to start than with the kickoff show, which I kind of felt maybe warranted a place on the card. I mean, the match between the Usos and the Shield for the Tag Team Championship, it took a while to get going, even though it had two adverts, but it was actually pretty good and a lot better than some of the matches we had on this card tonight.
The thing is, when it comes to the tag team division, we've waited for the WWE to offer something different. The Usos come from NXT back onto the main card. Their first pay-per-view, they get the kickoff, which I don't believe is really needed anymore. So for this not to make it to the card compared to later matches, it was quite disappointing for the performance we got.
No surprise the Shield retained, though, in my opinion. I never expected the Usos to win this one.
Not now, no.
The actual opener to the pay-per-view was the SmackDown Money in the Bank. That seems like the general consensus with regards to Money in the Bank. We opened up with the SmackDown Money in the Bank. Fandango versus Cody Rhodes versus Damian Sandow versus Antonio Cesaro versus Swagger versus Ambrose versus Wade Barrett. I felt this was a pretty good match. I felt this was the better of the two Money in the Banks, personally. I also felt that Cody Rhodes was the star of this match, and it looks like they're going to be turning Cody Rhodes' face, judging by the way the match ended.
Well, for a while now, the WWE have teased Sandow being the overshadowing Cody Rhodes, leaving you think there's tension between those two. So if we're teasing Cody Rhodes' face turn and a temporary feud against Sandow, I'll go for it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the way I look at this is I can't really complain too much because either way, I know Sandow got the victory, and I am a fan of Sandow, even though he's been jobbing quite a lot lately. Either way, you look at the people in this SmackDown Money in the Bank, either way, a jobber was going to win. So it's not like we even had a guy in there, apart from Dean Ambrose, who was possibly built up to win this anyway.
The thing about this, minus Swagger, we've got a lot of new talent that could be seen as worthy of the Money in the Bank briefcase. So other than Swagger, I would have been happy no matter who won, even though their build's not been the best. Going into it, yes, it was Wade Barrett, Dean Ambrose possibly winning, but Sandow, who's been against main eventers, Orton, Sheamus, it made sense, and good luck to his push now.
Be interesting to see. We actually have a heel World Heavyweight Champion right now and a heel Money in the Bank winner. Be interesting to see where that will line up going forward. Miz versus Curtis Axel. This was just kind of there. I mean, it was there to give Curtis Axel a clean victory on pay-per-view. Nothing more, really. There was nothing really much more to the match. It went about 9.5 minutes. Axel wins. That's all you need to know. AJ Lee versus Caitlyn for the Divas Championship. Again, this wasn't as good as their payback match. Caitlyn taps out. It was I guess a decent Divas match, but there wasn't much to it, really.
Even though I'm glad that AJ's continuing her run as the champion because there's no one else really ready up there for the championship. But the way this went down is Caitlyn's, mood suddenly disappeared. That bad mood, she was in that cry mood. That suddenly went, frustration went. And also, in the last match they had, Caitlyn managed to last about 3 of her submissions, and this time she didn't seem to last that many. But other than that, well done, AJ.
Ryback versus Chris Jericho. This probably should have been on the pre-show, to be honest, because I didn't care about this match going in. I don't care about Ryback anymore. Just a lame match. Ryback wins with a roll-up of all things. If you're going to have Ryback win, at least have him win using his freaking finisher.
Ryback. Get it right.
Sorry, yeah, Cryback. Yeah, as if I need another reason to not care about Ryback. I didn't care about this match. I didn't care for the finish, and I don't really care for Ryback going forward.
No, this match, I really didn't care. Yes, WC is getting these two big names on the card, but this match didn't have a purpose, really, compared to the tag match, which was for a championship. So I think they got this wrong.
Yeah, and also, want to note one thing here. Whatever happened to backstage interviews at pay-per-views? I mean, I know we've got the pre-show and like the panel and everything, which had Big Show, Kofi Kingston, and Vicky Guerrero, but I don't think there was one backstage interview at this pay-per-view, which is really disappointing, as that helps, that helps the monotony of the pay-per-view most of the time.
Coming to Money in the Bank, the fact, yes, the opener was the SmackDown one, so you couldn't have done much with that, but for the Raw one, between each match, you could have at least had a segment talking about why they're going to win. Maybe.
Dario versus Ziggler for the World Heavyweight Championship. I must admit, going in, I wasn't all that bothered about this match. The fans were very behind Ziggler, which is a good thing now. He's a babyface. You had Del Rio targeting the head of Dolph Ziggler. And even though at the beginning of the match I wasn't really too into it, they did actually put on a pretty good match until the finish when AJ Lee come out and pretty much got Ziggler DQ'd for no reason.
This is horrible. I don't know why the WWE are bringing back AJ to this, getting involved, stuff like she did with Punk, Kane, Daniel Bryan. We moved away from that, and I really didn't believe. Yes, it's to break up these two eventually, but I really thought the match weren't that bad, but adding AJ in just ruined it for me.
Yeah, I can't help but feel this was a way to separate Ziggler out and also maybe to feud him with Big E Langston going into SummerSlam. While I didn't like the finish, I'd be interested to see what they're going to do with Ziggler as a babyface going forward because he was pretty impressive in this match.
Well, I will say this, the way I see it, the fact it was a DQ finish, Ziggler's not going to be happy. I see possibly them continuing this feud in a way that maybe AJ cannot get involved.
John Cena versus Mark Henry for the WWE Championship. Let's face it, as fans on the internet, we kind of knew what was the writing on the wall here. We knew we knew Mark Henry was going to be cannon fodder for John Cena. We knew Mark Henry was going to dominate most portions of this match, and we knew John Cena was going to do some bullshit Super Cena finish. It was a pretty solid match. Cena won, but I kind of expected him to win, so I'm not going to devalue it just because Cena won.
The WWE tried their hardest with this match, kicking out each other's moves, Mark Henry looking good and stuff, but in the end, it really weren't enough because you made Mark Henry look great like you do because of him being the heel, great heel, but coming to this match, you do, by the end, get Cena coming out on top and ending Mark Henry's awesome build-up.
Which we all expected, let's face it. It was a new opponent for John Cena. It was just a filler opponent to get to SummerSlam. RVD versus Punk versus Christian versus Orton versus Bryan versus Sheamus in the Raw Money in the Bank. They didn't add a member to replace Kane. And to be honest, I think having 6 people in there was a lot better. I must admit, though, I thought this match was going to be really good considering some of the people in there. And I don't think it was as good as the SmackDown Money in the Bank, personally. I didn't feel that it was a worthy main event of the show.
The thing I liked about this, though, is you did have the return of Rob Van Dam. You did have other possibilities happen, which we'll get to in a minute. There's stuff going on in this match that leads to a possible future and interest. But compared to the SmackDown, the fact that the SmackDown one was done more for the new talent, that gave that the bonus.
Yeah, I mean, not that it was a bad match. It was a good Money in the Bank ladder match. It's just that I didn't feel it was as good as the SmackDown one, and I didn't feel that it was as good as it could have been. I think it was mainly because of CM Punk being injured on the outside, and there was a couple of botches in there as well. But we did have some storyline continuation. You had Curtis Axel, for some unknown reason, come out and prevent Daniel Bryan from winning Money in the Bank. I do wonder why. We also had Paul Heyman costing Punk a chance to win the briefcase, which is more than likely going to lead to CM Punk versus Lesnar going into SummerSlam. So there was some nice storyline additions there to this match.
I thought the thing with Curtis Axel going against a possible feud with Daniel Bryan, the thing is, you've got Daniel Bryan on this big push, so you need to make him continue looking good. Axel needs to obviously look good with being this new guy coming in. So this feud, as much as it's a good feud, be careful, I would say. As for Heyman doing that, a bit unexpected. Why did you do this? Why did you prevent him from doing this? And then he attacked Punk. That was quite cleverly done. But it's more forwarding, yes, going against Paul Heyman, going against Punk, going towards Lesnar.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of scratching my head over who won this one. Randy Orton? I mean, are they going to do another Randy Orton versus John Cena match? Or is this going to facilitate a Randy Orton heel turn? I don't know. I was left scratching my head as to why Orton won the Money in the Bank.
The way I'd fix this, because obviously, yes, as much as, even though you're going to have a face versus face, because I don't think Orton's going to be turning heel, I think this would be a great way to possibly get Orton versus maybe a Bryan champion. Because they were teasing that feud growing, so I'd like to see it continue, but as Bryan's champion, but we'll see.
You really see Daniel Bryan beating John Cena for the WWE Championship, though?
Would be nice.
I don't. But anyway, yeah. Overall, Orton winning Money in the Bank. That'll be an interesting thing for you guys to talk about in the comment section below. What were your overall thoughts on Money in the Bank? Considering generally Money in the Bank is a good pay-per-view, I didn't feel it. I felt it was an okay pay-per-view. It could have been better. But it was just an okay pay-per-view to me.
Sadly, it took me a while to get into this pay-per-view. I'm not saying, because we did get loads of good spots in majority of the matches, which was good. But for an entertainment purpose, I didn't feel this really delivered as much as I was hoping for. But as for the winners, I think they were pretty good winners.
It started off very well and then kind of entered a lull for about the next hour, and then it picked up a little bit with the World Heavyweight Championship match and the WWE Championship match, and then the Raw Money in the Bank. But not as good as previous Money in the Bank pay-per-views, in my opinion. An okay to decent show, but that is the best it was, and a lot of people thought this was going to be a bit better. So leave us your thoughts on this show down in the comment section, and more importantly, leave us your thoughts on Orton winning the Money in the Bank briefcase for Raw and Sandow winning the Money in the Bank briefcase for SmackDown. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. We have been the British Fist.
Judging.
Mr. Parkin here in my orange sunny shirt, and this guy sitting next to me is none other than NJ.
As you can see, we are the Evolution. What's up?
Thank you very much for watching this review, guys, and goodbye.